Cardboard City presents
The Wonders of Hydrogen
by Samuel Henson and
Rashida Hernandez Wells.
next slide. Hydrogen. Hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe, coming out at roughly 90%. It is a common element for stars, including our sun, and makes up the majority of gas giants. Hydrogen is found in all living things on Earth and is marketed as H2 for scientific and industrial use in its pure form. Next slide. How to produce H2. Currently, there are three major ways. The first is by use of steam to separate natural gas. The second is by use of steam to separate liquid biofuels such as ethanol. The third is the use of electrolysis to split water. Next slide. Electrolysis. Electrolysis uses electricity to split water. When this happens, the atoms become ionized positive ions. Hydrogen, H2, moves to the cathode side, where the negative ions move towards the positive anode side. The membrane in between them is perforated to allow ions to pass between them freely. Electrolysis itself does not create any harmful emissions or byproducts, causing this method to draw a lot of attention. However, it is also one of the least cost-effective methods to create H2. Next slide. A byproduct of using hydrogen. The use of biofuel and natural gas to create H2 does create some carbon monoxide pollution. However, it is a quicker and cheaper process as compared to electrolysis. The only byproduct of electrolysis on the environment is heat and water, byproducts that in and of themselves don't do much, if any, harm to the environment. There's only one part of the creation and usage of electrolysis that could create some pollution for the environment: taking power from the grid. Next slide. The grid. The grid refers to power that is pulled from all sources, renewable and non-renewable alike. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration for 2018, about 36% of U.S. energy is created between nuclear and other renewable sources. The rest comes from fossil fuels. Next slide. Direct use. Once created, H2 itself is not harmful in any way. When hydrogen is used in a fuel cell, three things are created. 1. Electricity for the machine it is hooked up to. 2. Some heat is released. And 3. Water is formed. No harmful emissions from the tailpipe are created. There are no environmental effects from potential leaks. Aquatic and non-aquatic creatures alike would be virtually unaffected. Power cells. H2 power cells create energy from hydrogen by allowing H2 to form with O2 or oxygen to create water. In doing so, energy is released and water is made. Power cells harness the energy from the water creation and converts it to electricity. It is essentially reverse electrolysis. Electricity created in the power cell then goes to the rest of the machine. Benefits of H2 power cells. H2 power cells are more environmentally friendly. There are no moving parts in a power cell, making it virtually silent during usage. It is a more efficient use of energy gallon per gallon as compared to traditional internal combustion engines. There is a longer lifespan as compared to traditional batteries as well. The lack of harmful emissions means that it can be used inside without creating carbon monoxide. And best of all, no oil changes. Next slide.
Effects of hydrogen on the environment. Hydrogen is the first element in the periodic table and is the most abundant element in the universe. There is no research to show that hydrogen has had a negative effect on the environment. There has been no evidence of hydrogen having any type of adverse effects on plant and animal life. Next slide. Hydrogen fuel cells are a clean, reliable, quiet, and efficient source of high-quality electric power. Hydrogen is used as a fuel to drive an electrochemical process that produces electricity, with water and heat as the only byproducts. The two main processes for hydrogen fuel cells are in stationary power sources and hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. Next slide. Hydrogen is an abundant element in water, biomass, and fossil hydrocarbons. The greenhouse gas intensity of hydrogen production depends on sources and processes where the hydrogen is derived. It can be extracted from water using electrolysis, using power from renewable solar or wind, nuclear energy, or fossil energy. It can be derived from renewable biogas, renewable ethanol or methanol, or fossil natural gas. Most hydrogen is derived from fossil natural gas, emitting fossil carbon dioxide as a byproduct. Next slide. Hydrogen electricity are used to power office buildings, data centers, grocery stores, and remote off-grid telecommunication towers. Because they can be located on-site, electrical transmission losses are eliminated, increasing overall system efficiency. Fuel cells allow owners to operate independently from the power grid, which is especially important for places that cannot afford power supply disruptions, such as hospitals. The heat produced by the fuel cell can be used for space and water heating or industrial processes, increasing overall system efficiency. Next slide. Hydrogen vehicles are safer for the environment as well, because hydrogen gas is converted into electricity and produces only water and heat. That means fuel cell vehicles don't create tailpipe pollution when driven. You are driving emissions-free, and the electricity is coming from a renewable resource. Next slide. Industries impacted. Currently, gasoline and automotive industries are the most impacted and will likely continue to be the case as this industry continues to grow. There is speculation the battery industry will also be impacted by H2 taking over. Since 1958, NASA has been fueling rockets with hydrogen. That's right, spacecraft has been ahead of the eco-friendly curve for decades. All of it's steam and hot water after all. Pros and cons as compared to gasoline. Pros: hydrogen will not harm if inhaled. Hydrogen does not stick around to catch fire or be inhaled. Hydrogen is not harmful to the environment. And cons: hydrogen is still flammable. Hydrogen takes longer currently to refill. Hydrogen still requires no cell phones or open flames near the pump, and hydrogen currently is more expensive. Next slide. Problems encountered and solutions. Platinum is expensive, which is a main component of the power cells and electrolyzers. They find ways to use less or other cheaper metal alternatives such as cobalt. Problem: H2 vehicles didn't contain much fuel. Solution: hydrogen was put under extreme pressure to make up for it, so it's more usable. Problem: hydrogen is flammable and under pressure. Solution: rigorous safety measures are installed. These few points were fixed by people who cared about the environment and, in some cases, were incentivized to find better ways. Where is H2 fuel being used? Mostly just California. As of yet, most places are not investing in this fuel alternative. However, it is expanding to other places.
These are our sources cited, and for any sources not found, the link on the right side will take you to a document that does have most of the sources that were used. Thank you.